Interesting moment yesterday. President Obama asked on late night television about UFOs. Let's take a listen to what he said.
When it comes to aliens, there's some things I just can't tell you on air. But what is true, and I'm actually being serious here, is that there's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are. We can't explain how they moved, their trajectory. They did not have an easily explainable pattern. And so, I think that people still take seriously trying to investigate and figure out what that is.
That was one of the most tortured ways of saying we have no idea what the hell is going on.
Classic Obama.
Which at least is the truth. I mean, he wouldn't even say it whenever he was in office. There's a continued quote here. He says, quote, "When I came into office, I asked, I was like, all right, is there a lab somewhere where we're keeping alien specimens in a spaceship?" And, they did a little bit of research, and the answer is no. And then he launches into the answer.
I think he's joking in that part, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Look, there's a lot of conversation to be had about whether presidents can even be told a lot of this stuff. President Clinton famously, I think he was asked on stage in 2005, and he's like, "I'm embarrassed to say I tried to find out and I couldn't." And because John Podesta, his chief of staff, is a huge UFO guy and actually wrote a foreword to Leslie Kean's book on UFOs, and he also admits that while he was in office, the second most powerful person in the United States government, he was unable to attain a lot of the information that we have around this. So I do think, though, it is very interesting that Obama's comments, especially remember Obama was president during many of the encounters, or at least whenever a lot of it was being studied in the program which eventually came to light in 2017 under the Trump administration. So if anything, he would be privy at the very least to some of the footage that we see here. Same thing where Tyler Cowen recently asked John Brennan, who was a CIA director, and he said the same thing. Under Obama, he was like, yeah, there are unexplained phenomena, and we have footage of that. And I think, again, one of the important pieces of the discussion is people are always trying to say, they're drones, these are foreign drones. There's a big piece, I think it's in the War Drive or whatever, saying that these are Chinese or Russian or some sort of either enemy or unknown terrestrial technology. Whenever people say unexplained, or whenever people talk about, and I think Lou Elizondo said this in the CBS special, we're talking about something that's going 13,000 miles per hour, which defies all the laws of physics and of known human flight. There's no drone on Earth capable of doing something like that.
Right.
And the mystifying nature to which Obama, this is one of the most confident people in the world, and he's dumbstruck about how exactly to talk about it, I think does tell you that if this was foreign technology that they were trying to cover up, they would just be handling it very differently.
That's very true. And look, obviously the military investigated all of those obvious, is it a shadow on the radar? Is it a drone? Is it a weather balloon or whatever? Clearly they ruled out those possibilities to get to, we just don't really know. For me, what's significant about this is it just shows how mainstream this conversation has become in a very short period of time.
Because of 60 Minutes.
Because of 60 Minutes. The big revelation in that was that one of the pilots said he saw these things every day.
I know.
He's like, this is a regular occurrence. We saw these things every day. I don't happen to know whether that was during the time period that Obama was president, but it very easily...
Probably second half of the Bush administration, but yeah.
Yeah, so this was things that were on the record already within government circles at that time. And so, but the fact of the matter is, this is probably the first question he's ever gotten on this topic.
He was asked by Colbert once, and he was like, I can't tell you that. Yeah, that was it.
That's it. Late night comedians are the only ones who apparently ask the question about what's going on here.
Instead of laughing around with Joe Biden, we should ask him about UFOs, because I'd love to know what he had to say. Trump, I thought if there was ever a person who would do it, it would be Trump, in terms of the declassification, all that, but his mind was basically rotted by Russiagate declassification and all this other stuff, so he never basically got around to it. I would love to hear what he has to say, or if he knows anything at all whenever it comes to this subject. The Obama answer, again 5 years later, and he's loosening up a little bit from his Colbert interview there, even admitting to the footage post 60 Minutes interview, I do think it's very significant.
I think so too. And, with Biden, if he gets a question on it, like you could see it going either way because he's very undisciplined.
Yes.
Like Obama is very disciplined on these things. Biden is really undisciplined. So he'll either be completely clueless and say absolutely nothing, or he would like unintentionally say something he's not really supposed to say.
We'll see.
So somebody ask the question. More Rising for you after this.